this demo, we're going to learn the basics of gouache, and we're really going to focus on drawing lines. So the first thing we'll think about are our brushes, and I'll show you the different kind of marks that they make. So I always start with a cup of water, paper towel, and I have a little eyedropper thing that just came from an old cosmetic product that I used up, and so I like to put water in there and drip it on. It's not necessary. If you have something like that, that's great. It kind of makes it easier, but if not, you can just dip your brush in the water and go from there. So here we're looking at the larger of the two round brushes, and you can see that you can really control the colors. This is the smaller of the two brush, but what I'm really trying to show you is that you can take the same color and have many different tones show up. You can really water it down and get a very faint wash of color. You can add a little more paint to it and get darker, more solid colors. When working with paint, sometimes I like to just start with a solid background color. And I usually go for a bigger brush that's going to give me more coverage. So in this case, I went with the flat, the larger of the two flat brushes. And again, thinking about the words on the page. This has, the words cold and wintry in it, and is also about birds. So I was thinking about the sky and cold and dark winter. And, I'm really just trying to fill the page with a solid color. And, it's going to be washy. I like a washier look myself. I feel it gives a little more expression, and just try to even things out a little bit. Then you put it aside and have to let it dry. Once that paint is dry, you can pick the brush that you want to work with. I'm going to go for the larger of the two round brushes. And I first will, using my pencil, just sort of map out how I see the lines. And I like to kind of really go freeform. Put a dab of paint on, thin it down, get it to the consistency that I like. Your water's going to get dirty. Don't be afraid of that. And then, one at a time, you just go around and keep that kind of free-form vibe going. And once the paint dried, it kind of felt like it needed a little something else, so I went in with my pens and just added some very abstract bird shapes, like the kind that you do when you're a kid. I didn't want to get too complicated. I really like to let the language do the talking, and the image can just really support that language that you have there. I think I decided that, I wanted that text bubble to have a little bit more prominence, so I just outlined that with my black paint too. And another technique is, rather than having a background, is to just alternate the colors. So you'll do one set of lines first and then another. And I'm showing these videos of me laying the words out because I want you to think about different ways that you can place them on the page, and you can separate them. In this case, it's into two sections, but you can have things floating around. You can have it be all connected. That is really, to me, part of the composition. You just take your paint and go over those lines that you drew with your pencil, and then you have to let it dry. This is always the hardest part, working with paint. And then you get your contrasting color, and in this instance, I'm using purple, and I think I might have even had a little blue on my palette, so I added that to it. And again, kind of thinking about the words on the page, and this is winter and cold, and really that cold gray time that is winter. And also thinking about the consistency of the paint, like varying when it's thinner and more washy, and paying attention when you can make it thicker and have more paint on it.